Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Deputy Chairman of Committees, the attempt to bring the Public Security Ordinance to declare an emergency and to bring it under Part 2 of the Public Security Ordinance is indeed an attempt to cover up the misdeeds of the government. Nothing but that. Because there are available opportunities through other legislation to control the situation of shortage of essential goods in the market. If there is hoarding, hoarding can be controlled through the Consumer Affairs Authority Bill. Then there are other provisions, particularly we have been demanding that the National Disaster Management Council be established to include the opposition in deliberations of this nature and to see whether it is absolutely essential for us to be resorting to such a draconian move to control the rising prices of essential goods in this country. It is nothing but an attempt to bring more and more repression, more and more authoritarian governance, and not to look at the consumer's benefit. If it is the consumer's benefit, you have brought about so many gazettes in the past. None of those gazettes were able to bring the prices down. Then you are now blaming the hoarding by the middlemen and mill owners. What is happening basically is that you are arbitrarily determining something and imposing a price against the market forces. Now, if that is to be done, you should look at other options. In the past, now why are you trying to do this? Obviously because the foreign exchange crisis that you have brought the country into. In the past, if it was such a situation, CW will be asked to import the goods. Now you are unable to import goods and then compete in the market. So you are trying to cover up your inefficient economic management, and through which you have plunged the country into such a terrible situation. And finally, internationally too, we are becoming a laughing stock. Some international media has gone to the extent of saying, after having declared an emergency to control food prices, what did international media say? Sri Lanka is moving towards Lebanon situation, a situation where there is a serious food crisis in Lebanon. Almost 80% of the people are virtually going towards poverty, and such a situation is going to befall Sri Lanka is the assumption by the international media today. By going for an unnecessary, uncalled for, unwarranted nationwide emergency which have been declared for a different surreptitious purpose, to muscle opposition, to stop protests, to also, if you wanted to do this, you could have always brought the Public Security Ordinance Part 3 into operation. You could have used Section 17, which has specifically for that purpose. So why was not the Part 3 brought into operation? Why is such a broad Part 2 provision being promulgated in this manner? This is nothing but an effort to try and continue with this militarization and then to show as if you are now staging various dramas. People are going, Consumer Affairs Authority officials are going, army is going, police is going. You are now surrounding stores, and then you are showing every day there is a
Honourable Member, you have 2 more minutes.
act being displayed for people to think that the government is catching hoarders. Now, most of it, some of these are bonded stores, and then see how you have gone and given the pricing for the essential goods. Now you say Nadu rice will be sold at 98. Now for the common people, now where could you get these rice stocks? See the amount of queues that is there in front of the CW stores all over the country. Now you are creating a black market basically in the country, and then you go and see whether if you could at retail prices, how many people could go and avail themselves of this facility. Now if once all these stocks are discovered and then given. Now, I heard some of the ministers saying that there is enough sugar stocks up to March next year. I beg to differ, Mr. Deputy Chairman of Committees. The stocks that are there is going to be depleted very soon, and you will be compelled to import sugar. And when you go to import sugar, and if you are able to control prices in the way that you have envisaged, I would be very much surprised, Mr. Deputy Chairman of Committees. This is nothing but a very surreptitious attempt to impose a dictatorial and draconian method of controlling public dissent in the country. And this is nothing but an effort to do so. And therefore, it is our wish that this type of short-term method should be avoided, and you must resort to a permanent solution. Permanent solution is to go to the lender of last resort, to seek the IMF assistance, to get out of the
Honourable Member, please wind up.
balance of payment crisis that you have got into. The serious situation has developed, so your monetary policies had to change. You need to stop printing money to control this problem, and then instead of taking the country further into problem by increasing inflation by printing money, you have to resort to the lender of last resort. That is nothing but to ask the IMF for the bailout. And that is the only solution to control this problem, and not to resort to such draconian methods. Thank you.